I'm Philip Jarvis, Anthony in the middle, which I very rarely use, unless it's something legal. And I joined the Marines, actually joined up in September 1940 when I was 18, but I wasn't called up until January, February in 1941. I had never heard of the Royal Marines when I joined up. And when I went to the recruiting office, there was a queue for the Navy, queue for the Army, a queue for the Navy Air Force. And there was one splendid man, beautifully dressed, enormous man, who turned out to be a regimental sergeant major in the Royal Marines. And he stopped me and said, could he help me? And I said, yes, I'm trying to join up, but I haven't got time to join the queue. So he said, okay, I'll look after you. So I discovered the Royal Marines, and that's how I joined. The training was extremely intense. I mean, from the time you entered those gates, you were considered to be a Royal Marine. So you couldn't just stroll. There was no strolling inside. You had to walk, quite, fiercely, almost aggressively, to walk wherever you went, and that was drummed into you from the very first hour. The main part of the early training was the drill discipline, which takes some getting used to, because if you join up and you think you're joining for a war, and you expect to be taught how to kill people, what you really spend weeks about is drilling on a parade ground. And it isn't until later that you realize how important that is. So they get this group of completely pretty wild characters from Liverpool and Scotland, who'd never been used to any kind of discipline at all, and had to really train them into a cohesive squad of people who did everything together and everything. So it didn't, if one person was out of step, the whole thing fell down. So it meant every single individual had to be trained. And the Marines pride themselves in their drill, so that it was a double whammy, really. Not only was part of the training, but it also had to be the best in the world. When you join the Royal Marines, you have no alternative but to accept their view of themselves, which is the tops. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And the Marines have an esprit de corps, which is drilled into you from the very first day, and which you never leave. If someone were to ask me what the esprit de corps is composed of, I think that the first answer is that you aim for the highest standard possible. Whatever it is, whatever you do, if you're cleaning your boots, they have to be cleaner than anything else in the world. If you're in drill, you have to be smarter than anybody else. If you have to do something physically, shooting or climbing or whatever it is, you have to do it to the highest possible standard. There is nothing below that. You can't do that.